Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Cross Series League Racing and PitStop TV welcome you to the 13th round of XSLR on PitStop TV. Andrew Cardinale IV with JP Costa alongside this evening. Emerson Arden is out and around the racetrack, virtually grabbing photos for us to enjoy on social media. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps stands the test of time as one of the world's greatest, one of the world's highest standards of motor racing, evolving throughout the years, meeting the needs of all kinds of motorsport. The now 7-kilometer circuit is fitting to open the road racing segment of this XSLR schedule, JP.
Yes, exactly. I'm just so excited to see, because this racetrack, I'm pretty sure everybody that loves road racing loves this racetrack, and it's a perfect racetrack to start the road racing. These 4 amazing weeks that I'm expecting to see out of these drivers, and well, an amazing car as well to follow.
And we take a look here at the track map of Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Of course, I think we're all relatively familiar with it to a degree. Of course, you start the lap in La Source, turn number 1, you head up the hill towards Eau Rouge, and you crest over it at Radillon. Then you head down, you barrel down the Kemmel Straight into Lacombe. You have the right-hand carousel of Rivage towards the left-hander of No Name. Buhan takes you back down the hill towards La Fagnes. You have Campus, Stavelot, run by Paul Ferrer, Blanchimont. I mean, even the bus stop chicane, of course, it isn't quite a bus stop anymore. I mean, Spa, again, is one of the highest standards of motor racing ever. This track has stood the test of time, all 4.352 miles of it, 7 kilometers. And it is quite simply one of the most epic places ever to race. One day, I hope to maybe make the trek out here for any kind of racing. It could even be Jimmy Broadbent in his Praga prototype. It doesn't matter. Anything here would be really, really cool to watch. But tonight, we have virtual Dallara iR-01s. Now, if you're not quite familiar with these cars yet, we'll take a look at them right quick and then tell you about something that we'll have to watch throughout the evening. Now, this is a V10 naturally aspirated formula car that iRacing developed through the COVID-19 pandemic last year in 2020 with Dallara, the, of course, very famous open-wheel chassis builder, even prototype chassis builder with the P217 that released on iRacing last year. But, of course, they do produce the chassis for IndyCar, and they have for years on end now, most of, I think, the 20th century. I think since it became IndyCar, certainly Dallara has been the chassis builder. So Dallara knows what they're doing, iRacing knows what they're doing, and iRacing wanted a top-tier Formula car on the service, and this is it. The Dallara iR-01. We'll take a look on board here with Jimmy Howlett as he gets up to speed. And something that I want to take a look at before we get to anything else here, JP, is we'll actually go on board now with, this is Jerry DiPiero. You see those small screens on either side of the driver cockpit? Those are virtual mirrors. Something that I love is just the fact that iRacing and Dallara are pushing technology a little bit virtually anyways with some of what you see on this race car. I mean, this takes you back to Formula cars of old, but also, I think, helps vault us into what we could see in Formula racing to come. We have wider rims, well, both radius of the tire and width of the tire. We see virtual mirrors, we see limited aero devices. I mean, this is a fantastic race car, and what iRacing did while developing this race car is give us these. We have Dallara iR-01 tire compounds. So we don't have technical notes on these tires or anything. We don't have the Pirelli C1, C3, whatever the F1 guys can get into before their broadcast, but we do know we have soft, medium, and hard compounds, and they work just the same as soft, medium, and hard compounds in F1. Of course, reds are softest. They provide you the most grip, but they wear out the quickest. Mediums are right in between, and hards have the least grip, but also last much longer. It's going to be interesting to watch these drivers battle through that this evening, JP. They do not technically have to take 2 compounds or more within this race, but they are urged to do so by XSLR admins.
Yes, exactly. This is going to provide great strategy calls. You know, even if you're involved in some sort of turn 1 incident, lap 1 incident, you can provide a whole different strategy to your game and bring yourself back in the race. And well, these cars, thanks to iRacing and Dallara, they're able to follow each other due to the development. So you won't be seeing what we see in F1, you know, kind of just drivers losing their tires after following a few laps. So this is just going to be a great strategy race, pushing sometimes to the all-out limit of the tire, and some drivers just saving their tires to the end. This is going to provide great entertainment for us tonight. Yes, exactly. That gap is coming down. Adam had a quite difficult last 2 weeks. We saw from the dirt, the oval, sorry, the dirt road aspect of series. We saw new winners, and Adam quite struggled, but he seems to be on pace here in qualifying. He should be battling back. We saw that he likes road racing, so he should be back on that top step. And we kind of expect him to see him up there. Kind of what Lewis Hamilton is in Formula 1. You just expect him to be in that P1 spot. But I'm welcoming any driver into victory lane, and seeing that championship gap getting shorter and shorter each and every single race makes it kind of exciting for these last 4 weeks.
I absolutely can't wait to see how this evening goes. Of course, we can take a look at the schedule as well. And, well, this is what we have to look forward to. The last 4 races there, all in May 2nd this evening. The Dallara iR-01s at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps to kick off the road section and to kick off the final section of the schedule. Then Mazda MX-5s next week at Lime Rock Park. We follow that up with Mazda MX-5s again at Summit Point Motorsports Park before we finish the season out with SCCA Spec Racer Fords at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. That is going to be interesting. We're kind of working backwards in that progression, right? You start out in those Spec Racer Fords and Skip Barbers towards the bottom of the road racing spectrum. You work through Miatas, work into GT cars, and eventually maybe even into open wheel with the Dallara iR-01 maybe in the future. Kind of working backwards, but I like it. It's going to be interesting to finish out this season. Certainly a lot of interesting racing thus far here with Cross Series League Racing. I don't see any others on the racetrack than Robbie Larill currently, the very notable Charlotte Rallycross winner from a few weeks back. He currently sits 7th in qualifying. We've got 5 drivers not electing to get onto the racetrack so far, it looks like, but these guys getting a chance to turn some laps, get used to the circuit, and especially get used to these race cars. Looks like Larill opting for mediums, is it, in his qualifying run? I would have thought softs across the board, but he's on mediums currently.
He's probably thinking about the long-term strategy. If they decided to start the race on the qualifying tires, this could bring a new strategy into the game that we see. Obviously, he's starting on mediums. He's going to have a disadvantage not only on raw pace, but also at the beginning of the race, just not having all that grip that the soft runners have. But he's also going to have the advantage of strategy, using that soft tire at the end of the race and providing himself more grip. So this could cost him a bit at the start, but if it works out, it could be a brilliant strategy there we're seeing develop even in qualifying.
Now, I'm not exactly sure if iRacing is going to force his hand. I know you can't start on the same set of tires. It may still force you to start in the same compound. That is yet to be seen. We'll document this further, and we'll see if Robbie Larill does, in fact, start on mediums in that first run. It's going to be a relatively short race this evening, about 22 laps, much shorter than the F1 race, in fact, about half distance. But that's still quite a distance, actually, here at Spa, considering you're returning 4 1/3 mile just about each lap, 7 kilometers each lap, so 22 by 7. I gotta do some thinking. That'd be 140. That'd be like 154 kilometers. So that's still a pretty lengthy race, and that does check out about half length of 305. So still quite quite a lengthy race. We should see at least one set of pit stops. I don't think we'll see more than that unless somebody's really going for abusing some softs and just going for lap times.
Yes, exactly. You know, even though it's half a Grand Prix length, I'm pretty sure this is going to be demanding on the drivers. Even with this car, you know, you're just pushing so much downforce, so much power that is going to be, you know, weighing down on the drivers on the force feedback throughout the race. But, you know, it should be a fast Grand Prix. It should be half length, but it's going to be very, very exciting, just like real life on each and every single series that runs on this racetrack.
Just listen to that V10 scream as it works on by. That is a fantastic sound. That is what you like to hear in racing, ladies and gentlemen. I can't get enough of this V10. I cannot get enough of this car in general. I know this is a very controversial car when iRacing released it. I love every bit of it. This is a fantastic racing car. Now, we do have a warm-up session before we go straight into the race. So while we have this opportunity, JP, let's shout out some of the Cross Series League Racing partners that make these broadcasts possible, and hand it off to you with Nexus Fabrication.
Nexus Fabrication provides custom metal fabrications and manufacturing for commercial projects, residential projects, custom projects, signs, furniture, repair work, and etc.
And Dangerous is a top 3D visualization firm specializing in high-quality 3D product, CAD, package rendering services, and photorealistic product visuals. They specialize in automotive subjects and have extensive industrial and consumer product design experience. Let them help you visualize, promote, and communicate your designs. Visit their website at dangerous.net, just like it's spelled there on the graphic, dangerous.net.
A non-profit, volunteer-fueled organization dedicated to finding cures for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis and improving the quality of life in children and adults affected by these diseases. Donate at www.crohn'scolitisfoundation.org.
Laketown Creations custom builds heartfelt creations using wood and other materials. Family owned and operated, they can turn your vision into reality.
Running Wednesday through Friday, Allied Esports hosts a trio of some of America's best short tracks, paved and dirt. Find Allied Esports on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Allied Esports Racing Series.
Baker Steel Detailing LLC provides custom shop drawings for fabricators. They specialize in various miscellaneous metals, structural steel, and ornamental metals, and they are, in fact, WBE DBE certified.
For over 30 years, Acer Engine Supply had been rebuilding and restoring engines of all shapes and sizes in the Colorado Springs area. Today, their attention to detail and commitment to customers remains unchanged. From restoring an old classic to getting your daily driver turned running again, Acer Engine Supply will get you back on the road. Visit them at acerengines.com.
And finally, TTC Corte Madera, California, full spectrum UV treatments and custom organic sugar-based DHA airbrush solutions. You can get this at Tamalpais Tanning in, I'm going to guess, Corte Madera, California. Only salon in the U.S. to offer these services. Red light therapy and blue light therapy beds also available with a doctor's recommendation. Now, unfortunately, those last two partners are not on this graphic. That should have been updated. We will make sure that is updated for the next Cross Series League Racing event. But we do want to thank their efforts regardless. But we should have Tamalpais Tanning and Acer Engine Supply on there. A big shout out to them coming on later in the season and joining the rest of the partners here with Cross Series League Racing. Getting a taste of multi-car action around Circuit de Spa Francorchamps for the first time this evening. Before we get to some of that, as one car spins out of no name, let's thank some of our partners here at PitStop TV. A big shout out, of course, to Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. You provide the image you want. They will custom create a high-quality Bluetooth cannabis with a speaker, a Bluetooth speaker inside of it. I kind of got mixed up there in my words. What you need to know is it's a fantastic product. I've got one behind me on my wall. I stand by this product every step of the way. And you can use promo code PitStop TV at 10% checkout. Or sorry, you can use promo code PitStop TV at checkout for 10% off of your order. I've been under the weather all week. I'm trying to get through it here. Of course, we want to give a big shout out as well to Race Pace setups, where you can pick up pace with Race Pace. Permanent makeup and cryo in Maine, with locations in Auburn, Lewiston, Naples, and now Saco, Maine, as of yesterday, according to the website anyways. Permanent makeup in Maine will get you the best care that you... I messed that up. You deserve the best care that money can buy. That's where I was trying to go with that one, of course. A big shout out as well to Whiplash Media, whiplash-media.com. You can find some fantastic resources for sim racing. They are the official graphic and camera provider of PitStop TV, and of course BAM Racing Videos, iRacing for the racing community. JP, cars in the racetrack for the first time as a cohesive group. Excuse me, I'm telling you, I'm a little under the weather. We're coping with it though, and Robert Schwenkler has passed us so far in warm-up.
That's really good. You know, showing practice, showing this pace early on, obviously just puts a little bit of a salt in the mix, you know, just getting yourself in ahead of your opponents. And that's going to be great. You know, obviously we want to see these guys running as much practice as possible because these cars are kind of hard to get used to due to the high downforce, obviously high speeds, as you can see, nearly 20,000 RPMs at over 200 miles an hour, and just braking and turning even faster than F1 cars, I'm gonna argue here. So it's just extremely important to get this race time, you know, getting used to the track temperature, the tires temperature, you know, getting everything up to speed and tuning yourself in, tuning your head in to the race that it's in a few minutes, 5 minutes time.
Now, what's going to force the hands for these drivers come race time, as far as strategy goes anyways, is actually not just the tires. Of course, these tires can probably go pretty close to 22 laps if they were to take the mediums and take care of it, or just run the hards. But what is going to force the hands of these drivers is the lack of fuel. Now, as opposed to F1, where they have a fuel load that goes distance, they will have to pit for fuel in this race, is what I'm being told. We'll see how that unfolds this evening on board of Mitch Heller. I think this is the first time we've seen him in the field so far this season in the 990. Working through campus and Stavelot, he'll head down to Blanchimont here in just a few moments. Michael Vaughn is also on the racetrack, heading through Pouan now. And just getting a look at these drivers, we see Michael Vaughn running through 7th gear. That was, I think, a safe bet through Pouan. I was noticing in practice as he loops it there in Lafayette, I was noticing in practice you could run either 6th or 7th. I think the faster drivers will probably opt to drop down into 6th and max out RPMs and just try to launch back down the hill, because you do have to lift a little bit unless you really pack on downforce.
Yeah, exactly. You have to find the essential balance between downforce and drag on this racetrack. And the interesting thing that we're seeing a lot of drivers running different types of compounds. As you said, we will have fuel strategies, so drivers will have to tune in those tires. You know, if someone wants to risk running one tire through the whole race and saving themselves that extra bit of time on the pit stops, they might be able to do it. But some drivers are using the hard tires on the warm-up, some drivers are using the soft, some are using the mediums. So each and every single driver is trying to tune their car and themselves to the conditions that they are faced on.
Currently watching Chet Duranek work around the racetrack, and he'll come into the bus stop chicane and misses that by just a little bit, but that's a hard braking zone actually. I know it in a sports car, in a GT car, but flying in there in a Formula car, you want to brake a whole lot deeper, but you're really second-guessing yourself the entire way into the braking zone, because you've got to throw that reference from a sports car away. And I know a lot of these guys, they ran with Whiplash Racing in the Preventic Endurance Series not so long ago, so they might still have that ingrained in their brains, but they've suddenly got to rewire themselves and brake much later, but they've also got to know exactly when the latest point they can brake is, and that's tough to find.
Yeah, exactly. And from personal experience, I find that corner extremely difficult to find the braking zones. You don't have a lot of visual aspects, and sometimes when you see the braking zone that you feel like it's right, it might be just too late and you might just overshoot the corner. But I'm sure these drivers are putting up a lot of practice, and some of them, well, they seem to have been able to tune in and just find a little bit of extra pace around that final chicane.
And I want to give a big shout out real quick to this driver right here. It's my understanding he just moved back to Colorado, and his internet situation isn't the greatest, but he's working through it right now, and you can see his connection is holding relatively steady right now. I have not seen any blinks just yet. That could change. I might be jinxing him here. Well, knock on wood. As I say it, he blinks out a little bit through Lacombe, but he is out here, and he's at least going to attempt making the start. James Truitt, working through some adversity, excuse me, much like myself, but he wants to be out here. He wants to make the start. He wants to grab points.
And I'm sure he just wants to have as much fun as able with this car. You know, this is a perfect combo if you think about it. High speeds, high downforce. You know, I'm pretty sure they couldn't have picked a better circuit. Maybe just being a little bit biased, Interlagos might have been a better choice, just being in my home track. But I'm sure they're all happy to be driving this car, because this looks like a lot of fun. This looks like something I should try within the coming few weeks.
I can't disagree there, JP. I think this is a fantastic way to break in the road racing portion of the schedule. I think this definitely presents these drivers with fantastic opportunity to get used to road racing very, very quickly. Maybe not that's in terms of development, but I think still a fantastic way to just kick things off. And for us, I think it's going to be a fantastic race. A lot to work with this evening. Of course, tire strategy, fuel strategy, and just trying to manage these race cars. It's going to be difficult. I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be fantastic to watch. We see a lot of drivers pushing the limits, locking up the tires. This is just great to see. You know, this is racing at its finest, and I'm sure each and every single one. I can't wait actually to see these guys running side by side and in a straight line. You know, just one slipstreaming the other on the camel straight. That's just going to be absolutely amazing to watch on the first lap.
I certainly do not disagree with you, JP. Let's take a look as we get ready to roll into not qualifying, into the race here. Let's take a look once more at the point standings, just refresh ourselves. Adam Thompson. Now, going into this week, or going into last week, certainly leaving last week, or the last race at Phoenix, I never would have imagined that the point standings would be this close between Adam and Mike Sorum, but it's suddenly gotten very, very close. And I don't have it listed here. I actually just refreshed myself in my brain. Mike Sorum did win at Phoenix. I don't have it listed, but he does now have that race win, and that's vaulted him a whole lot closer to Adam Thompson. Adam's got to watch out. He's got to make sure he executes these last couple of races to hold on to that championship lead. Let's take a look through our grid. Now, we are doing a standing start this evening here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. On pole, though, Adam Thompson in the 244. Mike Sorum, last race's winner, starting from the second spot. Starting third will be James Truitt in the 5. Mitch Heller in 4th position. Starting 5th, it'll be Lucas Finko. Jerry DiPiero rolls off in 6th. Starting 7th, it'll be none other than Robbie Larill, with Jimmy Howitt starting 8th.
In 9th place, we have Chad Derenick. In 10th place, Tyler Coates. 11th, we do have... Oh, looks like we're going to have the green lights here shortly, Andrew, so we might just leave those for later, as we do have the green lights and we do have few cars stationary, and they do have a bit of a turn 1 incident.
That's not even a turn 1 incident. That's much akin to what we saw in the IndyCar race earlier today. We get rolling off of the grid. We'll follow this for a moment. Up the hill, up Eau Rouge and over Radion, we are racing at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Adam Thompson leads us over the hill, and we'll get barreling down the Camel Straight. Does anybody misstep over Radion? It looks like not, although Scott Benavidez is slow out of La Source. Let's take a look back at the start. Just waiting to see what happened here. We'll watch all of these cars grid up, and we'll wait for this to happen. I'm not even sure exactly where this happened, but we'll try and get a nice look at it from this angle.
I'm pretty sure it was right at the green light. Might have been able to do something with the double clutch, might not engaged, but someone, I'm pretty sure that was 3rd place, just did not get going at the green light. Yeah,
I think that was James Truitt. That definitely was. Oh my gosh, look at the calamity. I'm not even sure who those guys are at first, but that was James Truitt not launching. Let's take one more look back.
Yes, exactly. It looks like he was just maybe struggling with the revs, maybe running a bit too high of a gear, but just couldn't get away from the line.
This is on board here with James Truitt. We'll be looking back at, well, everybody piling into him here on the start. That's going to be Lucas Finko who hits him first, and they stack up, and Larill gets hit. He no longer has a wing, and calamity from the start. Calamity from the get-go.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Robbie losing the wing, but that was extremely lucky. He got hit from behind, and looks like he carried away with no damage, so he could be, you know, one to look out for, but looks like the battle for the lead between Mike Sorum and Adam Thompson is still quite going, as the battle for 3rd place as well.
Completing lap 1, it's not a couple of Mercedes at the top of the field. It's Adam Thompson, Mike Sorum, the 2 drivers who have led the championship since we came on at Limaland way back when, if you can believe it. Mike Sorum now in pursuit of Adam Thompson up and over Radion. That was a bit shaky from Adam.
And now look at the power of the slipstream. Mike Sorum is coming at him, goes defensive on the Camel Straight. He's going to force Mike Sorum to go around the outside. He looks to the outside. Now, is he going to brave around the outside on the brakes? Looks like he is. He gets it through the first part of the Lacombe chicane, but cannot get the move done, and Adam Thompson still on the lead.
That was a fantastic attempt there from Mike Sorma. I like the way he approached it, much like turn 1 at Portimao earlier today. He was certainly trying to roll around the outside, and I think you can get that done, but it's only lap 2. He didn't want to force anything too quickly. He is on hards here. Adam Thompson is also on hards. I wonder how that's going to affect things as the race goes on. We've got other battles throughout the field. Robert Schwenkler in behind Jerry DiPiero, in behind Mitch Heller. These guys 3rd, 5th, 4th, and it looks like Bobby Ross, is sorted into 7th place. James Truitt is in, Bobby Ross in 6th. Truitt in 7th. Lucas Finko, I believe, yes, he's working back onto the track now. He is in 11th, where Michael Vaughn, Robbie Larill, Jimmy Howitt, and Chet Duranick are our victims of that turn 1 pileup, and they will have to regroup in the pit lane. Still a battle up front.
Look at this, Mike Strom is he's getting an absolutely mammoth of a slipstream. Is he gonna be looking down the inside of the bus stop chicane? He is, but looks like he backs off just in time. But looks like these two are gonna be going on for a fantastic battle. Thompson kind of having a little luck up on the second part of the chicane, but you know, the amazing thing that we're seeing from these cars is just the ability to follow one another. They're not dropping back, as you can see. Mike just also close to Adam, and he has to judge this right to not be able to catch him before Radion.
Yeah, that was an interesting place for lockup in the chicane, wasn't it? Firing up Eau Rouge now. And Radion, you'll see DRS. I don't believe we'll have that this evening. These cars don't have DRS. One car in the pit lane that we did not expect. Robert Schwenkler, he's in. James Truitt as well. These two pitting from the field. And Robbie Larill will roll off of the pit lane as well. Not sure what's going on there, but the battle up front continues.
Looks like Adam might be, he did hold his own again on the camel straight. Looks like he's mastering that defense strategy, and Mike should just be taking notes on how to do it on the next lap, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a massive 22 battles non-stop for the lead. I'm pretty sure we're seeing what Hamilton and Verstappen are used to seeing in Formula 1. And these two looks like they're just gonna keep on going. Look, as you can see, the gap is not dropping back. Mike Strom 9/10 of a second behind on the Puon, and well, half a second now, just closing and closing. The slipstream is actually pulling him in through the corners, not getting that dirty air effect, and that's just amazing. And now, as they head towards Blanchimont, the final corner there, it looks like that's turn 15. He's gonna be getting a massive slipstream, nearly half a second back. Can he close it in and try and go for the move on the bus stop chicane?
We'll see what he can do working up to Blanchimont now. He's still in the slipstream. He's got a great run here, JP. He's going to fire to the right side, thinks better of it. Man, that was a heck of an approach, and I think if that was the last lap, you certainly have to force that if you're Mike Sorum. Oh, very sideways. That was a great catch from Mike, and that changes this entire complexion of this battle. Purple there from Adam Thompson. He goes to a 148.810. Adam smokes the right front, though, through the entirety of La Source.
That's what 900 horsepower does to your car. If you just get a bit too happy on the gas pedal, you're going to be losing the rear end now. Mike is at 8/10 back. He might be able to get the slipstream again. As Scott Benavides looks like he made his way into the pits, and looks like he's going out with the soft tires. So he might be seeing how many laps the soft tires can run, because remember, the two leaders are on hard tires, so those are definitely going to be going towards the end on those tires, not going to be changing. But as you can see, just the part of the slipstream, he's already 6/10 back, so he caught up nearly 4/10 on that Campbell straight. So these cars, you know, as you can see, just struggling again. Another lockup for Adam. That's not going to be doing his tires any favors.
Now, he's got to be careful not to build temperatures too quickly. Now, he is, of course, on the hards. I think that's going to help him quite a lot, but I'd still be concerned if I were Adam Thompson. And Mike Sorum may be playing the waiting game at this point. He's kind of fallen back a little bit through No Name, down through Boulan now, and into Lafayette. He's in the tune of 8/10 back of Adam Thompson. This is the largest deficit we've seen for him in quite a while to this point in this race. He's certainly working himself back from Adam Thompson. This is interesting for Mike Sorum. I wonder if he's going to go for the slipstream down this kind of straightaway, if you will. A couple of bends, though, before you get to Blanchimont. I don't know. He's quite a ways back, but he's working up to it.
Yeah, exactly. The slipstream effect on this back straight is just amazing. Heading into Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane, as you can see, he's just closing and closing and closing each and every single second, and just forcing his way. And Adam Thompson, once again, I'm pretty sure that's the third or fourth time this lap of puff of smoke came from either one of his front tires, so he might be struggling a bit with the braking aspect, as Mike Storman now doing a 147.8. That's the fastest lap, and yet again, Adam Thompson locking up on turn 1. That's not going to be going well on his tires, and that's definitely losing him time to Mike Swarm, which now is going to be trying to close in once again on the Camel Straight.
He's not quite taking that far inside the perfect racing lineup Radion. That's going to hurt him a little bit as well down these straightaways. And you can see Mike Swarm closing in again. He's not going to be there for a move into Lacombe this time. And you can see Swarm lays back. But man, roasting these tires under braking is Adam Thompson. He's got to be careful of this. You can't flat spot the tires. You can't quite blister them here in iRacing, but you still can wear them out. And if he doesn't have that right front to lean on, he's not going to fare well here in No Name or down the hill at Puan. He's got to be careful.
Exactly. If you wear out too much of your tires, you're just going to have an unbalanced car, and that's going to be a nightmare to drive. And I'm going to say he's feeling the pressure. You know, when you lock up a bit too much, might just be pushing the car a bit too much, might be looking on the mirrors, maybe over the top. So he might be feeling the pressure. Mike is doing exactly what he needs to do. If he can get past, just make sure he's there to provide the pressure and force Adam into a mistake. And while he's doing that to perfection, now looks like he's half a second behind as they head out of turn 15 towards Blanchimont, and you're just going to see that gap getting shorter and shorter as soon as they hit. And then we do have a car. It looks like that's on the pit lane.
I think we've just had an Austin Powers by virtue of Tyler Coates. Let's take a look back at this replay. He's had a problem. We're going to go even further back. He's had a problem in Blanchimont, and I think this starts with help from possibly, this might be James Truitt that tags him. There was an issue in Campus, it looks like, as well. Maybe they keep going, but James Truitt, I believe, is going to contact the rear of the number 10, and yeah, right there, he just punts Tyler Coates into Blanchimont and into that big green wall, and that's a painful green wall to hit as well. It's all concrete, and boy, that has taken the life of many a GT car here on the sim, trying to minimize drag on that rear wing, and that has claimed many a car here on iRacing. You can see he's trying to work back to the pit lane at this point. I think we're going to see an Austin Powers moment here in just a few.
I was gonna say, luckily for him, he only lost the front wing, but I'm not pretty sure if he has suspension damage.
Oh, he does.
Just gonna have to wait. Yeah, looks like he has suspension damage, and let's see. Oh, he just kind of beaches the car. Yeah, as soon as he puts the wheel, that car is beige. That's not going anywhere, and he blocked the pit lane. Oh, that's kind of unfortunate.
That's painful to see for Tyler Coates, but boy, that does have a certain level of humor to it, doesn't it? And we'll watch this one more time from another angle. Oh boy, you definitely hate this, but it is a bit humorous to see. If you're not Tyler Coates, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, no one tried to get into the pit lane and was faced with that, but he towed us in quite quickly. He realized his mistake, and luckily for us, the pit lane is back open.
We've just had another problem. This is with Mitch Heller. Nothing has changed up at the top. They are getting close, though. We'll go back to that lead battle momentarily, but right now, this is going to be Mitch Heller in the 990. He's had a problem, it looks like, in Lacombe. May happen a little bit later towards Rivage, but this is the 990 sideways there in the second corner of Lacombe, that three-corner complex. And in Rivage, the car just steps out.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Maybe due to his setup, that's kind of weird to see these cars just step out. Maybe he just applied the throttle a bit too quickly. That rear end just went on, and unfortunately for him, that's not a lot of runoff area, and he might be driving a car essentially with a bit of rear wing damage. As you can see now, a replay between Adam Thompson and Mike Swarm. No, looks like we're back live in the battle with these two are still on.
This is live now. Mike Swarm back on the assault of Adam Thompson. This is very close up front. You see a lot of the field struggling with these cars this evening, almost to be expected, given the fact that this is a cross-series league racing. Well, that's the name of the series anyways. They run a whole lot of different race cars, and this is a very challenging one to run as well for the introduction to paved road, but I'm enjoying it so far. But I certainly sympathize with these drivers this evening, trying to cope with these race cars. Very, very tough challenge this evening, but excuse me, see? Still struggling there, but up front, this is a fantastic battle.
Yeah, exactly. This is a huge jump from those drivers who have just been driving essentially dirt road or dirt oval or just essentially oval racing. This is extremely a big jump, so that's why we're seeing a bit of a struggle. But looks like Mike Storman now he's going to be on the attack. Is he going to try and move on Blanchimont? Looks like he just backs off out of it, and he's playing the cautious game. We can see he's not really trying to go for those desperate moves, but he looks like he has the pace to be battling. Adam Thompson again puffs a smoke, and as you can see now, he might be struggling with a bit of front end grip on his Dallara iR-01, and now we're going to be seeing him move down into turn 1. I'm pretty sure Mike Storm is going to be braving down on the brakes. Oh, he locks up a bit of the front and the rear, and that's going to allow Adam Thompson to essentially get the cross under, and looks like they're going to be going side by side through Eau Rouge.
Not quite side by side. Adam relents, and he gives that spot up to Mike Sorum, but a lead change for the first time all race long, and Adam Thompson back on the offensive. He's going to draft up to the left side of Mike Sorum. We've got a battle towards Lacombe. What are they going to do? Mike Sorum inside. He's now lost that spot, gives it back up to Adam.
Beautiful move by Adam on the outside, just extremely brave on the brakes and extremely trustworthy of Mike not to essentially lock up. So that just shows the great level of respect that these two drivers have. And as you can see, just Adam locking up once again. That might not be costing him on the short term, but towards the end of the race, we might be seeing a bit of struggling. But what a move by Adam. He definitely seems in tune with the car, and so does Mike. Their gap to P3 and beyond is just incredible.
They've got 9 seconds back to Jerry DiPiero. It's going to take a lot from Jerry. A big undercut and going, I think, straight to softs. In fact, he is currently on hard. So, yeah, I think it's going to take a lot here from Jerry to get up there. We could see it happen. If he puts softs on and starts going lap time hunting, even if it's an overcut, we could see some time made up from Jerry DiPiero. Jerry is certainly a formidable road racer, and we could see maybe this race change a little bit depending on what these guys do up front. If they go for mediums and or hards in their second run, anything can still happen. Sorum, he approached, doesn't quite lunge up the inside of Thompson into the chicane that time, completing lap 8.
Yeah, these two are going at it. As you can see, now they're approaching a lapped car, but just a quick note, if they do put softer tires, we might be seeing, a massive lunge. Looks like he missed his braking point, and luckily for him, quick reaction times avoided contact between him and Adam, and wow, that was a close call.
That was incredible. I don't know how they avoided sure calamity between these two. We'll ride on board here with Mike Sorum for a replay of this. This is, wow. So this is into the chicane, and everything's pretty normal here. He approaches, doesn't make a move, sits back, and out of the chicane, you see the puff of smoke once more. Nothing too bad from Adam, and Mike was a bit slow out of the chicane as well, loses some time, and then, yeah, he just misses the braking zone altogether. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. And as I saw on the steering wheel, he didn't downshift at all, so it might be a hardware failure on his side because he went straight on 6 through the first corner, so might be a bit of a hardware failure, but definitely missed the braking point. And luckily for them, not a single contact made, but looks like Mike now lost a lot of time to Adam Thompson, maybe on a slowdown, but looks like he's nearly 10 seconds back.
He's just had a spin. Right as we were coming back to him, he has spun, and it maybe happens here with this slow car. Oh no!
Oh, that's not ideal, but luckily for him, just a tap on the wall. He might be just, I think he got extremely lucky. That was a hard tap on the rear axle, essentially, but not a lot of damage for him, luckily. Unfortunately for him, he lost contact with Adam, but as you can see, just coming on, he spots the gap, but I'm not pretty sure if the gap is there. And, well, the lapped car, looks like that's Chad Duranic. Yeah, that's unfortunate for him because he's out of the race, but Mike's continues.
I'm not going to lie, JP. When I first saw the replay of this incident with Chet Duranic, I honestly thought the gray, black, and red was a Haas livery. Thankfully, it wasn't. Otherwise, I think we'd be having flashbacks to Checo and Nikita Mazepin earlier on. But Chet Duranic, it's tough to say. I mean, I think, personally, Mike Sorum has the right to make that move, given that Chet is off pace, but also it is maybe not. It's so tough to say.
Yeah, exactly. Mike might have spotted Adam, just diving essentially to the inside, and might have seen Chet just moving out of the way and thought he could have done the same, but unfortunately for him, turn 7 is just kind of a tricky, just one-line corner. LMP1s and GTs do not go together. And it looks like Mike is on the pits now. So it might have got a bit of damage, or might be, just going for the strategy right away.
Certainly a lot of damage on that 69 car, and in to get repairs. He's still on hard tires. I wonder if that's going to change before he gets back out on the racetrack. Bobby Ross also in the pit lane. Wow, he has no right front tire. What has happened to Bobby Ross?
That looks like a big hit for him to lose essentially the whole axle, and I'm not pretty sure that's repairable, but we're gonna take a look at the replay to see what happened. That's coming out of the final corner. Looks like all said and done. Might be on the exit of turn 1. A bit too much throttle. Remember, he lost the right front tires, so he
This
just
would almost
turns
have
in.
to happen in Eau Rouge, wouldn't it? Maybe Radion up over the hill. It could be over the crest.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe, oh no!
What?
On straight line, he didn't get hit by anyone. I guess he just completely misjudged the width of the tire.
That's an interesting one. I can't say I've seen that before.
I was just gonna say that's really unusual to see. As you can see, just I guess just trying to get as much space as possible and completely misjudged the width of the tires. It just completely slammed himself into the wall.
Actually, no, I can say I've seen that one before. The only time that I've seen something like that would be back in the 24 Hours of Limes back in December with our Whiplash Racing number 78. Both Trey Shuttlesworth and myself hit the bend in the Laguna Seca pit wall in our Ford Mustang. I can't believe we both did it. Trey did it as he was getting pretty tired in his stint. I did the exact same thing a couple of hours later on, but that's a new one in an open wheel car. I've not seen that in an open wheel car. That was in an endurance race when we did it in Laguna Seca. It was the middle of the night, pretty tired. I wonder if maybe Bobby Ross, maybe just a little bit tired from today possibly. But there was a whole lot of racing to watch this weekend. We had, of course, the NFL draft as well to add on to things. We had 2 IndyCar races this weekend, yesterday and today. We had F1 at Portimao earlier today, the Kentucky Derby last night, the NASCAR Cup Series today, the NASCAR Truck Series last night. A lot of racing going on this weekend. Maybe he's just a little bit tired from watching a lot of racing. Who knows?
Yeah, that could be it, but I'm gonna go with you. I haven't seen someone doing that on this racetrack by himself, but if you do recall, I'm pretty sure that was the 2017 Belgian Grand Prix. We saw the 2 teammates coming together on that wall, so you know, that wall has a history of not being so kind to open wheel cars, but unfortunately for him, that looks like it's race over. As now Gary DiPiero, 3rd place on the point standing, looks like he finds himself on P2 all of a sudden.
Yeah, suddenly 2nd place here for Jerry DiPiero, and these are going to be points that he certainly needs. This is going to help him a lot in this points battle. It's not going to get him maybe quite everything he would hope for to... well, it would keep him ahead of Robert Schwenkler, actually. It would put him back in front of that tie, as Schwenkler sits an extra 8.25 seconds behind the 17 car. But I just don't know that this is going to hold exactly for the rest of this race. Is actually, did DiPiero just go by a lapped car? No, that was somebody else. Who was that? That was Chet Duranick and Michael Vaughn.
Looks like these two, no, it looks like these two are not battling. It looks like Mike Vaughn is about to lap Chet Duranick, which, unfortunately for him, he's back on the racetrack, so he can enjoy a bit of racing again, but looks like these two are going to be in also some sort of battle, not for position, but still racing. As you can see, Michael just trying to look down the inside. And is he gonna get through? Yes, looks like a bit of miscommunication between these two. But as long as they do it safe, no, that's a big hit for Michael, and that's suspension damage, and that's gonna be a tow back to the pit lane.
And I can't blame him for being a little bit timid at first. That's a sketchy place to pass, as we saw earlier on, JP. I mean, we saw an incident with this exact same lap car. I'm not saying that Chet did anything wrong in either instance, but we saw it was treacherous to pass in Lacombe, and this time he ends up running off on his own.
Yeah, exactly. That was, I guess he just got onto the marbles, and, you know, those slick tires might be just a bit too sensible, and unfortunately for him, just a hard hit on the wall, and that's going to cost him a few minutes at least, to tow back to the pit lane, get some repairs, and go out on the racetrack.
We've had another incident, James Truitt this time, I think trying to pit possibly, and he comes into the pit lane anyways. Does he have a problem? Maybe not. Maybe it was just the fact that he was coming into pit that he popped up on my radar, but he's already back onto the racetrack.
So I'm pretty sure James is going to switch tires, right? He's on the soft, so we might see the first tire switch on the race. Yeah, he's on the soft tires, so we could be seeing a new strategy here occur, and hopefully for him, he can hopefully get back on the racetrack, because he was 3rd place in qualifying, so he definitely has the pace.
So he goes to mediums, from softs to mediums. That's interesting from James Truitt. He is now back onto the circuit. In fact, he is working through Rivage now, that downhill right-handed carousel and into No Name. So he will get back out there, and again, on mediums. That's going to be interesting. I wonder how that's going to change the complexion of this race. Up front, Adam Thompson's still leading the charge, and he's got some 22 seconds back to Jerry DiPiero. He can relax at this point. I think certainly 8th win of the season coming this evening for Adam Thompson, unless something really odd happens. And you know what? Knock on wood right quick for him, because anything can still and probably will happen, I'd say, in this race, given the first 12 laps of this one. Let's take a look. We haven't checked out the weather yet this afternoon, and you can see pretty fair temperatures, a little bit warm on the racetrack. 101 is a little bit warm. Not exactly sure what that equates to in Celsius. Oh my, that's a lap car. That was Scott Benavidez. Almost really changing things up for our race leader. Again, anything can still happen.
Yeah, exactly. He has to be extremely careful because Mike Storm unfortunately got caught out by a lapped car, and he also could be caught out. As you can see, just the lapped car unfortunately misses completely the braking point on the bus stop. So, you know, just small details like that can change the complexity of the race in just an instant. So he definitely has to keep an eye out for that. Obviously, Mike already made his pit stop, but he's unfortunately, I'm pretty sure, 1 minute 30 behind. So might be a bit out of the equation, but Adam still has to keep himself laser focused. And yeah, the temperature 38 degrees Celsius. It's a bit hot, you know, might be why they chose the the hard tires, sorry, and could be in a complexity of the race. Could be mixing up a bit.
Personally, I love this view of the driver. The work iRacing has done to make this driver look more lifelike, the vibrations and just the movements. This looks fantastic. I don't see him reaching up for the paddles, unfortunately. That would really complete it, I think. But this just looks great. Being able to look at the driver and see as he approaches each one of these corners, see the hands move up on this wheel, and this is a really, really cool angle.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing the helmet moving, just looking towards the apex as they turn in, it's just those small details that just makes the difference between these, between iRacing and other sims. You know, just the realistic aspect to it, and it just feels like we're commentating a real racetrack. You know, I wouldn't mind if this was real and we would be commentating because it just looks that good.
We've had an issue. We've had a problem. Maybe just a pit stop. It's hard to tell for Jerry DiPiero. He is, it looks like, on an out lap. He's just pitted, and he is now on hard tires. And this is interesting. Well, not even a lot of laps left. We're down inside of 10 to go. About 9 to go, I suppose. And hard tires, that's interesting from Jerry DiPiero.
Yeah, they might have been taking that road of not changing tires, saving themselves those few seconds of essentially changing tires. I'm not pretty sure that's going to be allowed in this particular race car, but if they do, you know, that's just a few seconds that they shaved off. They might have thought that it's not worth it, you know, just going on a softer tire and just losing that time. But, you know, unfortunately for us, we might not be seeing someone going on the softs and trying to break the lap record that was set a few years ago. But, you know, Adam could still change that. He has a healthy gap and he could be going for that fastest lap.
Don't know that anybody is going to touch Valtteri Bottas's lap time. That would take a lot of work, I think, a lot of engineering behind this race car. Schwenkler, though, goes to a 1:47.17. I guess we should pull it up real quick and see what that lap record was.
It's 1:46.2, so only 9/10 of a second.
You know what?
Could
We're
happen.
getting closer. We're getting closer. But DiPiero came in on hards and leaves on hards. That's why I pulled up this replay. So he stays in the same compound, and he is let's see, it looks like 31.5 seconds back of Robert Schwenkler, so certainly some work to do.
Yeah, as you can see, just on the raw speed of these cars, just how much time you lose on a normal pit stop. He just came in, fueled up a bit, didn't even change tires, and lost over 30 seconds to Robert. So we should be seeing that gap kind of fluctuate. We should be seeing Gary go back into P2 and Robert obviously feeding himself in P3. But we can just see just the raw speed of these cars, how much time you lose on track in relation to your competitors.
You know what? I think if Schwenkler can get a good tow down the Kemmel Straight and maybe down even towards Blanchimont, as you see Jerry DiPiero working up to a lapped car here, we could maybe see something special out of Robert Schwenkler. This is Chet Duranik, it looks like, that we're trying to work by here for Jerry DiPiero. He will do so into Ravage this time, goes on by, and makes easy work there of the 420 car.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you caught that, but Chet went a bit cautious and left plenty of space on turn 7, just playing a bit of the cautious game, and that's good. You know, learning the process. Obviously, I'm sure he didn't meant to crash into Mike, but you know, just learning that process, just going slowly and slowly. And he looks like he might be back on the pace a bit, and he seems to, these cars just require a lot of confidence, and he's building that slowly but surely.
You mentioned Mike Storm again in that incident in Lacombe with Chad Duranic. Well, let's check back in on the driver of the 69 car as, I thought maybe we had a pit stop. We have had a pit stop for our race leader. Adam Thompson has pitted. He is on mediums. He's made the switch.
Oh, maybe he's listening to the broadcast and he might be going for that all-out record. So this could be throwing a spinner in the mix. He just comes out 1.7, looks like, ahead of Robert Schwenkler, and is, as you can see, just coming into the pits, slowing it down, being a bit cautious, and just coming in for a casual tire change.
We'll ride with him down the pit lane and see about how long it takes for him. This is certainly big, I think, to make this late switch to mediums. I would have thought at this point you could make a switch onto soft tires. We saw some drivers start on softs. I would have thought you could do softs from here to the end, but possibly not. He comes in, you can see the white will change to yellow. There it is. So medium tires going on the 244. That was quick as well.
Yeah, exactly. That was a really quick stop if you consider that they're refueling the car as well. So big props to his pit crew. But yeah, as you mentioned, it's weird that he didn't go on softs. They may have changed the structure of the tires, essentially the wear each lap, but you know, it might just be going for the all-out safe option, just going to the mediums, essentially just getting that gap. But Robert is actually catching him. He's less than a second, and he's getting the benefit of that slipstream. Now we're just going to have to wait and see if he's going to mount a challenge to our race leader, or he's going to be diving into the pit lane.
I think the big thing currently is much like the tire difference earlier on in the race, or earlier on in F1 at Portimao earlier, where Verstappen came out of the pits just behind Valtteri Bottas, but he had his tires up to temperature, and he worked on by Valtteri for a moment. I think we might be seeing some of that kind of difference right now, where Robert's tires are up to temp, and that's why he's closed in. And of course, he went a whole lot faster, a 46.9 that time. That is cruising around here. That's getting closer to Valtteri's time, but I don't think we're going to touch it this evening. I think, again, we'd need some more time to work on his setup, but he's close. 7/10. He's there. He's going to be able to start pressuring Adam. The question now is, does he have fuel to go the distance? He pitted 14 laps ago. He's got to go 5 more. So if fuel can run 19 laps, he's got it. If not, he has to pit.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be a big challenge. And luckily for him, he does not have the tire advantage, but he's on the slipstream. As you can see, just a bit turning too much on some of those corners. As you can see, just how much Adam can kind of pull away on this technical sector, but the slipstream just brings him right back. And if he can just build that confidence, you know, he's putting fastest lap after fastest lap, sort of what Lewis Hamilton did, you know, on older tires, just pushing the car and getting those fastest lap. He's essentially doing that, and Adam's going to have to fend off yet another driver to try and get that 8th win of the season.
I see out there in the chat, Dangerous is cheering on Robert Schwenkler. Suddenly, we've got an opportunity for Robert. He's now within about a half a second. Here he goes. Maybe a move for the race lead. Something is wrong here with the 244. He's just let Robert go on by.
That's not usual. As you can see, looks like he's dropping a bit. He let him by. I'm not pretty sure why. He might have an issue with his car, but we haven't seen any contact. As you can see, Robert diving into the pits. That's kind of unfortunate for Arbella, just as he passed Adam Thompson.
We'll see if he makes a tire change or if it's just for fuel. The Dangerous 235 working down the pit lane. There was a stopped car back there out of Stavelot. We'll get back to that in a moment, but this is currently a little bit more important considering he was second place, Schwenkler was, and we'll see. Do we change tires? He's up on the jack, so we're changing tires, I'd imagine. What does he go to here? Staying on hard tires. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of brave. Might have been mimicking Gary DiPiero. I'm not pretty sure if Gary's going to have enough pace to feed himself back in second place, but staying on those white wall tires, that's an interesting strategy. You know, I'm pretty sure when he passed Adam, he saw those white wall tires, but decided not to follow in suit.
Very curious by this move from Robert Schwenkler. Now, I'm not sure exactly which car it was ahead of these guys. It may have been this guy right here, this very yellow 007 of Lucas Finca that was stopped up ahead. He's on some mediums as well to match his paint scheme even. And does he... Oh, it was somebody else. Oh, it was Robbie Larill. Interesting.
There might have been a problem because he's just completely stopped. Might have been a hardware problem. something. He just completely stopped the car and didn't even tow. So might be something going on with his wheel or his hardware. Unfortunately for him, that looks like might be race over.
He's been here for quite a while. This has been quite the amount of time that he's been stopped on the outside of Stavelot, and he just pulls over.
Oh yeah, definitely something happened. That's kind of weird. That's not something we usually see. Normally drivers even take the tow, so he just stopped. Hopefully everything's all right, but unfortunately for him and unfortunately for us, that's another driver out of the race with just 4 laps to go.
He's still on the racetrack. This is interesting. Of course, this is probably throwing a local yellow in this portion of the course, but thankfully nobody's found a way to hit him yet. And that is appreciated thus far. But certainly very interesting that Robbie Lorell is sitting there on the racetrack. He must have had something in the real world that he just had to get up from and immediately go and tend to. Robert Schwenkler has to start considering what to do with Jerry DiPiero starting to close in. And certainly the warmer tires, we've seen this, certainly I think, push one car closer to the car that just came out on new tires. We saw it earlier where Schwenkler had his tires at the temp and actually closed in on Adam Thompson. So maybe, just maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Gary might be doing the right strategy, just staying out, but he might be a bit too far behind, nearly 3 seconds already. And let's remember, Robert is technically the quickest car on the racetrack. So if Gary wants that second place and wants to keep himself in third place on the championship, he definitely has to finish ahead of Robert, but it's not looking very likely now with only 4 laps to go.
Yeah, we're down about 3.5 laps to go. These guys some 40 seconds behind race leader Adam Thompson. And Jerry DiPiero is starting to lose time to Robert Schwenkler as well. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get that great podium battle that we wanted, but the drivers that are going to land themselves on the podium doing a fantastic job mastering these cars. I turned multiple laps earlier today just trying to get a handle on this car and see what these drivers might have to deal with. It's a tough car. It is a tough cookie. It's very difficult to drive well. Emerson Arden, our social media guy this evening, he can certainly attest to the fact that I struggled with this car lap after lap. It took quite a long time to get an actual time in.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the nature of the car. When you talked about, obviously we talked about the beginning of the transmission, normally you go up the ladder, starting with the Spec Fords and the Mazdas, and then eventually you find himself on the Formula, just going from a rallycross, and sometimes from these guys, NASCAR, to straight up on a V10 900 horsepower Formula car is just a massive jump. And just being able to put lap after lap, just being consistent is a huge challenge. And finishing this race is a huge plus for these drivers.
One interesting battle on the racetrack, not quite a battle yet, but it could be by the end of this race. Still have 3 laps to go, and these 2 drivers will come around to take 3 laps to go this time around. And Scott Benavidez is trying to work up to Chet Duranic. Now, these 2 are 3 laps down, let's say that first, but if something happens to Chet up ahead, Scott is maybe within distance to close in and get up to that 420 car. This could still change as one driver works on by Scott Benavidez. This could still change.
Exactly, and as you can see, he's on the red tire. He's on the softest tire possible, and I'm pretty sure I'm not mistaken, that was Adam Thompson. So he's going to be using that slipstream. Oh, just as I say that, he unfortunately misses the bus stop, and that's going to be costing him a bit of time. But being on the softest tires definitely is an advantage, and I'm going to be corrected. That was not Adam Thompson.
It was James Truitt.
It was James Truitt, but he still used a bit of the slipstream, and that might just throw him off on the braking zone.
So now Adam Thompson will come around and take what we call in short track racing popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go for race leader Adam Thompson, and that gap is thinning by just a little bit, but I'd imagine at this point, Adam's certainly on a Sunday drive. Literally a Sunday drive. The gap narrowing now 35 seconds after it was about 40. So it's starting to get a little bit closer, but certainly much too little, far too late.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, Adam, there's no reason to push the car beyond its limits. Essentially, you're just on the cruising home mode. Just tune it down. Make sure you get to the end. You have over 35 seconds. I guess if he wanted, he could kind of stretch in a pit stop just for that fast lap, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to be seeing that. But what a race from Adam. Unfortunately, we kind of got stolen that battle with Mike, but still a fantastic, essentially mistake-free race from him.
Yeah, it really has been just about mistake-free, hasn't it? If not, it really has been completely mistake-free for this 244. It's been a fantastic run. And, excuse me, certainly I think was made easier by that contact with Chet Uranic earlier on in Lacombe, but still, he had to keep this car on the racetrack. He couldn't bin it at any one point in time. He couldn't run into a lapped car. He had to be on his toes all 22 laps of this race, and he has been so far.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what makes a great race win. And unfortunately for him, the last 2 rounds of the dirt road aspect didn't go his way, but this one is just like we're kind of used to seeing from the first few weeks, and definitely and I guess the entire season from Adam, just kind of dominating, not a lot of mistakes, actually not a single big mistake, apart from a few lockups, and he's just collecting everything that he has. But I can see Gary DiPiero moved into 2nd place. Looks like Robert might have made a small mistake, and that's going to cost him essentially P2.
That is a fantastic catch, JP. This is going to happen in Rivage, and Robert Schwenkler problems with 2 laps to go. You can see now, final lap on the ticker. Oh, and he does exactly what we saw earlier on. I forget who it was, maybe Tyler Coates. I don't remember exactly, but he just goes around. The car steps out.
Yeah,
there
exactly.
Goes DiPiero.
Ooh, that's unfortunate for him. Couldn't back up quick enough to essentially hold his position, but just threw the car way too much, and the rear tires was just essentially like, yeah, I'm not gripping that, and unfortunately for him, the car was around, and he lost P2. Now he's definitely going to be on a charge, but might be just a bit too far away, as you can see just how much he's pushing. This is pretty much a qualifying lap we're going to be seeing right now, and I'm expecting to see a fastest lap of the race if he's trying to catch Gary DiPiero.
We'll watch the spin once more. You can see it just comes around on him. And he does the right thing by pulling up onto the grass here on the inside of the corner. And these couple of cars are going to come whizzing by. So fantastic move to stay out of their way. Make sure that didn't get a whole lot more problematic. He's close to having a shot still at Jerry DiPiero as we work through the final couple of corners for Adam Thompson.
Exactly, Adam coming in just on turns. Looks like that's just before Blanchimont. That's turn 15. Fantastic race by him. Only 1 lap car in front of him. Looks like he might not be catch him by the end of the race. A mistake-free race from a championship leader. 7 wins on the board. He's about to make that 8.
The final couple of corners at Spa-Francorchamps, certainly the biggest stage these drivers have raced on yet. Out of the bus stop chicane, and Adam Thompson wins in the Dallara iR-01s. Oh, and he bends it! Oh, he might not get to the line! He might not get there! Coast across the line, maybe. Oh my gosh! I think he's coasted across the line. We will find out. This race may not be over. It may. We'll find out soon. That could be a crushing blow.
Exactly.
And this is a battle.
This is a battle for P2. Robert Schwenkler pushing to the absolute limit. He's going to be going on the outside, off the back straight, essentially. Looks like Gary DiPiero might have run out of fuel. I'm not pretty sure. He's slowing down. Looks like Robert Schwenkler, after spinning with 2 laps to go on the final lap, on the final sector of the racetrack, comes home to finish what we think is P2 if Adam managed to finish the race.
We're going to find out rather quickly. He only goes up to 2nd. Adam Thompson, I think, still wins this race. I can't believe it. I have never seen that kind of thing happen.
I was not expecting that at all, and how lucky was Adam to having that car just cruising with no wheels on the start-finish straight. That was incredibly close.
He's going to feel silly about that one, I think, for a long time, because he could have thrown this win and the entire last lap away. He would have finished 6th, I think, maybe even 7th when it was all said and done. He's going to feel silly about that. A little bit of lockup into the final corner, out of the chicane. What does he do? He just chucks the car. That's not the line. He's got to get to the 2nd line, and he does just. You can see the flag, man.
Lucky.
That's incredible.
That was extremely lucky. That's a celebration gone wrong. But man, was he lucky. No wheels. Essentially like Lewis Hamilton on the British Grand Prix. Finishing on 3 wheels. But he did it one better. Finishing with essentially no wheels, just skidding across the racetrack.
how many early Celebration Gone Wrong compilations would Adam Thompson have made if he didn't slide just far enough? I mean, this is incredible, the fact that he throws the car into a slide, throws it into the wall, and I mean, he slides just far enough. His wrecked machine comes to rest just far enough across the line. This is insane. We'll watch it back. This is in 4x slow-mo. He's going to slam the car into the wall there, and both front tires come flying off of this race car. And I mean, this is incredible. He comes sliding across, and watch up ahead as he spins around here. There's the flagman. That is how close he was to taking his own win away. That's maybe 20 feet. That's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. That was just so lucky. He was lucky that he had the extra momentum just to essentially just push his car over the start finish line. I have never seen that before. I've seen some celebrations, but that one was just way too wild.
That was simply incredible. I've never seen anything like it. I have simply never seen anything like it. But Adam Thompson, he does hang on to the race win. He will win over Robert Schwenkler, Jerry DiPiero, and more. We'll be talking to that top three momentarily. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coverage up ahead here at PitStop TV. This is Cross Series League Racing.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Welcome back to Circuit the Spa Francorchamps. We just saw a wild 22 laps. Mostly that 22nd lap, though, at JP. I still can't believe what just went on. We saw the winner almost throw it all away. Only good by about 22 feet, possibly. And we saw a last lap pass for second place as well between Robert Schwinkler and Jerry DiPiero. Certainly a lot to talk about in this post-race coverage here of Cross Series League Racing. Let's get it kicked off, naturally, with race winner Adam, buddy. There's certainly, excuse me, winning in style, but that was a little close.
Listen, Andrew, I don't want to talk about it, okay, man? I didn't mean to do that.
So what happened there out of the chicane? I think we can probably extrapolate, but let's hear it.
So I won by a pretty comfortable margin. I was just driving around. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to show off a little bit. I tried to swerve back and forth, man. Just swerving, and the back end finally said, no, I've had enough. And at that point, I still wasn't across the line yet. So I was like, oh, no. So I saved it, held on to it until I'm pretty sure I crossed the line as I hit the wall. And I was like, well, crap. We can't get our top 3 podium picture, but I still won the race. That was just really stupid on my part. I am no Lewis Hamilton, that's for sure. I can't do the stuff he does when he crosses the line.
I have news for you. I'm pretty certain that the finish line needed to cross was the one you slid across last. I may be wrong, but that was where the flagman was waving the checkered flag anyways. Maybe it was that first one. Who knows? But you certainly exited in style.
Well, I hope so. I'm going to have to actually go look.
But you get your 8th win of the season so far, and through 13 races, that's certainly impressive. And this kicks off a very interesting run to the finish of the season. We're not using this car again. In fact, we're using 2 separate cars. These back 3 races, Mazda's for 2 weeks, and then the Spec Racer Ford. How do you feel about Lime Rock, Summit Point, and then, well, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca?
Okay, well, I'm going to be honest with you here. I didn't expect to win this race. That's the first thing. So going into these next 2, I have no idea. Mazda I've run maybe twice. Laguna Seca I've run a couple times with the Dallara, the F3 cars that you do in the official series. And man, Summit, I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I've never run it, and I'm not that good at the Mazdas. I can tell you the 2 guys that are in the interview waiting room right now that finished 2nd and 3rd, Rob and Jerry, are in a Mazda league on Thursday nights. So I don't expect to win those. I expect to do okay. As you saw tonight, consistency was key. But again, maybe I get lucky. We'll see.
Well, I think if you get to practicing, you won't have too much to be worried about, but certainly I think practice paying off this evening. These are difficult cars to drive for sure, and you end up mastering it, at least compared to the other 14 drivers you were paired up against this evening. Who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out? I know you had Louie riding along with you.
Well, yeah, I told you, is if I keep putting him on more spots of the car, I've got a chance. I put him on how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4 times on the car. He did pretty good. But yeah, other than that, I just want to thank all the sponsors. Obviously Rob Dangerous, he's another admin in the league, and I'm sorry this might be a long one, but he's done so much. Andrew, I want you to know that Rob, since I've been working nonstop for the past couple weeks, and Rob has gotten to the point. He's taking control of the league. He's been able to get everybody where they need to be. So not only is he a sponsor for us, he's done so much for the league. So thank you so much, Rob. We're super glad to have you around. Baker Steel Detailing, Laketown Creations, Nexus Fab. Acer Engine, actually, they sponsored us for next season as well. That's James Truitt's, his uncle's company. So thank you very much, guys, for that. I don't know how to pronounce this. Tamil Pies? I don't know how you guys pronounce it in the race, but I'm going to say Tamil Pies. Oh, yeah. Tamil Pies Tanning Company as well. So thank you guys, all of you guys, so much for sponsoring us, and I really hope that we're putting on a show for y'all.
It was an interesting one this evening. Certainly with your battle earlier on with Mike Sorum, and then the last lap there, that was incredible between you, of course, giving us a heart attack up here, and then the last lap pass for second place. It was a fun one this evening. Thanks for your time, Adam. Thanks for your efforts here with Cross Series League Racing. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you, Andrew, so much. And again, I want to shout to you guys out before I leave. Thank you so much for what you guys do. You guys are, every week I'm going to do this for you. Thank you so much. If you guys don't know about PitStop TV, please hit them up. They're so great. Thank you so much for what all three of you, JP and Emerson. Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so much this evening, Adam. We'll see you next week, I'm sure, somewhere on this podium, and best of luck to you out there.
Well, I hope so. Thank you, Andrew.
Adam Thompson this evening grabbing win number 8. Now, I'm sure if you're watching this evening, you know something about PitStop TV, but I appreciate the kind words regardless. We'll move things on down the line to this guy right here. Second place finisher Robert Schwinkler recovered just in time to take second place back. I'll hand things over to the one, the only, JP Costa.
So, Robert, what a roller coaster of a race you had. You didn't qualify the best. You got yourself up in second place. Unfortunately, spotted and had an absolutely amazing last lap pass. But first, talk us through how difficult it is to have this car just putting it on the asphalt and just driving around this fantastic circuit.
It is a beast. It's a lot to handle. It took a lot of practice to get the reins on it. I was shocked that I had such a good start. I was really angry, to use some clean language, about the qualifying situation. I think there was a mishap with how many laps we were supposed to have. So because I invalidated my only lap, I had to start from the back. But yeah, I'm happy to get P2. I did not see that coming.
Well, yeah, I was just going to mention, you started 12th place. Unfortunately, you only had that one lap shootout, essentially, and as you mentioned, you invalidated. But, you know, that start was not the cleanest. Just talk us through your point of view and how you avoided the incident that we had.
I mean, I got a perfect start and just shot up through the middle of all that. I don't know how I made it through it clean. I don't even know exactly what happened. I'll have to go back and watch it. But I was just happy. I saw I was in like P3 or 4, somewhere up at the front, going into turn 1. So I was pretty stoked about that. And then from there, just tried to run my race. I kind of screwed up. I think on lap 3, I hit the wall at La Source. And had some steering damage, and it affected my aero as well because I didn't have any straight line speed, so I had to pit super early. And after that, I was just trying to claw my way back up there. I knew Adam had the pace, and so I didn't know if I was going to have a chance. I was hoping he'd screw up.
Well, and the pace you had was amazing. You were the fastest guy on track for many laps. I'm pretty sure you still had the fastest lap of the race. And just on that second pit stop, you know, you passed Adam, you kind of went into the lead, you were short in fuel. What happened that made you go into the pits again?
Yeah, I topped off when I went in on lap 3, and I just didn't have enough to get to the end. I was short 3 or 4 laps, so I had no choice but to go back in. I wasn't going to make it to the end. So yeah, that's the only reason I had to pit again. If it wasn't for that, I would have been up there with Adam. But yeah, that was the only reason.
And to the last question towards the race, that final lap pass, was it all or nothing on your head? It was like, yeah, we're battling for P3 in the championship. I'm going for it. were you willing to go side by side through Monchlema with Gary DiPiero?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was kind of surprised I looked like he backed off. I don't know if he did or not, but yeah, I was ready to go for it. I thought for sure he'd give me a challenge into the bus stop, but yeah, happy there was no incident from that as well, because that would have been not very good.
Well, and with this result, you move yourself back into P3 in the championship. And how do you look forward towards the next 2 races in the Mazda, and then obviously the third and final race on the Spec Fords? Are you comfortable with those cars? Do you feel like you can maybe challenge for the win on those tracks?
Yeah, for sure. I'm super comfortable in Miatas. I'm in another Miata only league during the week, so yeah, I'm good with those. The Spec Racer will take some practice, but I think I'll be able to get a handle on it pretty quick. So yeah, looking forward to those races. I think we'll have some good battles going on.
Well, I can't wait to see what you can do on the battle and on the track. Sorry, and well, who do you have to thank for your result?
Big shout out to all the sponsors as always. Laketown Creations, Nexus Fab, Chet, his donation to Cones and Colitis, Dangerous, Baker Steel Detailing. We just picked up a new sponsor, Acer Engine Supply, so big shout out to those guys. And I unfortunately don't know how to say the name of the newest sponsor. It's Jaden Darling's company. Unfortunately, I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But big shout out to those guys, friends and family for their support, my girlfriend for all that she does, and yeah, looking forward to next week.
I'm pretty sure they're stoked about your result, and so are we. And hopefully we can talk to you next week. Thank you so much, and well, have a good week.
All right, thanks, JP.
Well, Andrew, that was Robert Schwankler, our P2 finisher, and now P3 in the championship. And I'm going to be passing it off to you, to our P3 finisher, Gary DiPiero.
And I think Jerry is going to overtake Robert there for third place. Well, actually, no, because Robert got that second place finish leg up on him, so never mind. I will correct myself there. But Jerry, it's certainly been a wild ride for you this season, and you get bested there right at the end. What happened in the closing laps? How did you get past?
Well, first of all, that start was kind of crazy. I think you noticed that. But no, I had nothing for those two guys. I mean, I watched them all week or for the past 2 weeks, and I could never get to their times. So all I had to do really was just kind of concentrate and not make any mistakes, and I knew I had a chance.
Absolutely. Now, that start was something, and Robert kind of led off mentioning how he got through there. What was the view like for you on that start? I mean, I'm still not even sure exactly what happened. All I know is it was calamity.
Yes, definitely. I knew that as soon as it started, I knew I had a good start. So I knew that as soon as I started, I went to the middle of the track because I knew that things were going to happen in front of me, and it sure did. So that was luck for me, too. I was kind of lucky.
Now, as far as the championship battle goes, it's a little ways to get to Adam. You're going to need a whole lot of luck, well, a whole lot of bad luck for Adam anyways these next couple of weeks to have a shot there, but you still got a big battle here with Robert Schwankler, and you're not even too far out of second place. A lot can still go on. That said, it looks like Robert's going to get the leg up on you after this evening and take third position. How do you regroup? How do you attack these last 3 races to get those spots back?
Yeah, Robert and I are pretty good in the Miatas, too. So it's going to be good to watch, I think. That'll be a good little battle for us.
And speaking of those Miatas, after the Miatas, actually, well, how do you prep for those Spec Racer Fords? Do you have any experience with them? Do you have any experience with them specifically at Laguna Seca yet? What are you expecting?
Yeah, no, I have some experience with those cars. It should, but yeah, that last race will be a one to watch also.
Absolutely. I think these final 4 races are certainly cannot miss events for you guys. It was a good one this evening. Of course, putting it on podium and talking to us at the end of the night is always good. Not quite maximum points, but certainly a lot of points to be had this evening. You're going to get a whole lot closer, possibly to Mike Sorum. Well, a little bit closer. He's 4th place. But who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out this evening? Who makes it happen for you?
Just got to thank all the admins and all the sponsors for making this happen. And without them, it probably wouldn't happen. So yeah, got to thank all of them.
Absolutely, Jerry. Well, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on 3rd place. Go grab you a cold beverage out of the fridge and have a good one.
Thank you very much.
Jerry DiPiero grabs 3rd place this evening, puts it on the bottom step of the podium, and JP, we'll take a look here at our overall unofficial race results. Adam Thompson, still by 47 seconds, amazingly, takes the win this evening from Spa. Jerry DiPiero just a second back of Robert Schwinkler when it was all said and done. You see Mike Sorum, he checks in at 4th, James Truett 5th. Those guys both over a minute. In fact, James Truett over a minute and a half behind Adam Thompson. Lucas Finko checks in as the final car on the lead lap.
Exactly. Fantastic result from the top 6. Bobby Ross unfortunately finds himself as the first car a lap down in 7th place, but the only one lap down. Mitch Heller on the 990 finds himself 2 laps down in 8th place. Chad Derenek, which unfortunately made contact with Mike Storm, finds himself in 9th place, so a top 10 finish for him. That's a good recovery drive. Scott Benavides finished 10th. Unfortunately, couldn't catch Check, well, that's a kind of a tongue twister during those final phase of the race, but finds himself on the top 10, 3 laps down.
The final 5 drivers this evening: Tyler Coates, Michael Vaughn, Robbie Larill. They're all quite a few laps down. It looks like Clayton Elborn and Jimmy Howitt never made it past the start of this one this evening. Both 21 laps down, so that suggests they started, but did not complete any further laps this evening. Very unfortunate for those 2 drivers. Wish it could have gone a little bit better at the start, but we still got a fantastic show up in the front. Before we go this evening, let's take a look at and let's thank our partners here at Cross Series League Racing. JP, I'll hand it off to you.
Nexus Fabrication provides custom metal fabrication and manufacturing for commercial, residential, and custom projects, signs, furniture, repair work, and etc.
Dangerous is a top 3D visualization firm specializing in high-quality 3D product, CAD, package rendering services, and photorealistic product visuals. They specialize in automotive subjects and have an extensive industrial and consumer product design experience. Let them help you visualize, promote, and communicate your designs. Visit their website at dangerous.net. Again, dangerous.net, just like it's spelled, top left of that graphic.
A non-profit, volunteer-fueled organization dedicated to finding cures for Crohn's and ulcerative colitis and improving the quality of life of children and adults affected by these diseases. Donate at www.crohnandcolitisfoundation.org.
Laketown Creations custom builds heartfelt creations using wood and other materials. Family owned and operated, they can turn your vision into reality.
Running Wednesday through Friday, Allied Esports hosts a trio of series on some of America's best short tracks, paved and dirt. Find Allied Esports on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Allied Esports Racing Series.
Baker Steel Detailing LLC provides custom shop drawings for fabricators. They specialize in miscellaneous metals, structural steel, and ornamental metals. WBE, DBE certified.
For over 30 years, Acer Engine Supplies has been rebuilding and restoring engines of all shapes and sizes in the Colorado Springs area. Today, their attention to detail and commitment to customers remains unchanged. From restoring an old classic to getting your daily driver running again, Acer Engine Supply will get you back on the road. Visit them at acerengines.com.
Pius Tanning, full spectrum UV treatments and custom organic sugar-based DHA airbrush solution. They're the only salon in the United States to offer these services. Red light therapy and blue light therapy beds also available with a doctor's recommendation. Now, again, those 2 logos unfortunately not in this graphic. We'll make sure that's sorted by next week. They were supposed to be there this evening, but a big shout out to Acer Engine Supply and Pius Tanning as well for joining on this very large and growing and getting crowded group of partners here with Cross Series League Racing, but that tells you how many people there are that back this series. We, of course, also want to thank our partners here at PitStop TV, Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. You can use promo code PitStop TV for 10% off at checkout when you placed your order today. Of course, Race Pace setups as well. Pick up pace with Race Pace. Permanent makeup and cryo in Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of PitStop TV, and BAM Racing Videos, by a race fan for the racing community. Final thoughts this evening, JP. It was a wild one here at Spa. I certainly could not have predicted anything that came our way. Certainly not this finish to the race. We'll watch this one more time. This is just insane.
I guess this was one of the unfortunate highlights of the race. I guess for all the wrong reasons, it's just one of the best finishes we've ever had, I'm pretty sure. And that's just, I guess that's kind of the greatest finish I've ever seen, you know, just finishing with no wheels. Extremely lucky to pass on the start-finish straight, but well deserved for that. You know, as he said, he didn't mean to, but kind of weaving back and forth. I kind of get that he kind of wanted to drift, but not that much.
He certainly just wanted to swerve down the home straight like so many drivers do when they celebrate a win. It just ends up being a spectacular way to end the race, certainly, especially winning things. Then you have this battle with Robert Schwinkler and Jerry DiPiero. At this point, Schwinkler's already made the pass. This is after Blanchimont where they ran side by side, but Schwinkler just with that incredible last lap pass and certainly sorting things out in a very spectacular way as well. It was a fun one this evening from Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, but with that, we must bid you all farewell. That will conclude our coverage tonight of Cross Series League Racing at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. PitStop TV, thanks to you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. The channel stays active weekly, and you can catch a variety of racing throughout the coming days. Tomorrow evening, the VRP iRacing Series storms into week number 3 at Lima Land with the Pro Late models, and we double down on our Monday Motorsport with the Pacific Challenge opening round at the Nürburgring. Tuesday, we've got the NORC iRacing Series at Road Atlanta. Wednesday, it's the BRP iRacing Series Tour Mods at the Watkins Glen International. Friday, we've got LTAC heading out to Auto Club Speedway, heading out west. That should be a fun one. And Sunday, XSLR returns to action with the Global Mazda MX-5s at Lime Rock Park at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PitStopTV, on Twitter at PitStopTV_, on Instagram at Pit_Stop_TV, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. For all of PitStop TV this evening, myself and JP Costa on the mic, Emerson Arden on our social media coverage, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Have a great night.